Hi you guys, welcome to this video. This video will be about when to use an adjective and when to use an adverb. Before we can get into the how-to, so applying it to actual sentences, we need to look at the theory a bit. So what is an adjective? What is an adverb? So let's start with exactly that. We'll go to the simplest one first, and that's the adjective. Adjective in Dutch is called bijvoeglijk naamwoord, and we use it to say something about nouns. A noun, for instance, being the word de car. If I want to say something about this noun is zelfstandig naamwoord, in case you haven't figured it out yet, then I use an adjective. So for instance, if I want to say that the car is a super fast one, then I say the fast car, or the quick car, or the red car. Another reason for you to use an adjective would be after to be, or the forms of to be. So am, are, is, was, and were. So for instance, the sentence, the teacher is happy, uses happy and not happily, the adverb, because it's just after is. And if you think about it a little bit longer, and you ask yourself the question, who or what is happy in that sentence, you will answer the teacher. The being is not happy, but the teacher is a happy person. So we could rephrase the sentence as the happy teacher. So really, point 2 is still point 1. It says something about a noun. But it's easier to remember like this. That's why we put it on the list like this. So remember, it says something about nouns, zelfstandig naamwoorden. And after to be, we use an adjective as well. There are 4 reasons to use an adverb, so I put all 4 numbers here to show you how much easier adjectives are. Adverbs really are a bit more complex because adverbs can say things about several types of words. First of all, and the most important one of all of them, is that we use these adverbs, and in particular the adverbs of manner that we're talking about here, for verbs. It's actually already in the word. Did you notice that as well? Adverb. So it says something about a verb. You can add it to a verb. Hey, clever trick. For instance, I'll give you an example there. The car drove quickly, where quickly says something about the way the driving was done. So it was driven in a quick way. So that means quickly. We use the adverb there. The other 2 reasons that are quite frequently used on tests in lower school are adjectives and adverbs. So an adverb says something about an adjective. So if we have an adjective in a sentence already, and we want to give more information, or we want to specify that adjective a bit more, then we can use an adverb for that. So for instance, the sentence, she is nice, uses the adjective nice. If I want to say something about how nice that person is, I use extremely nice and not extreme nice. I don't say she's extreme nice, but extremely nice. And that ly is there because it's an adverb. And that adverb says something about the adjective. Oh my. Okay, so we're piling them up now. Same goes for adverbs. So if there's already an adverb in the sentence, for instance, she drove home quickly. Remember, quickly was an adverb. See example number 1. And if I want to say something about how quickly that was done, then I say extremely quickly and not extreme quickly. Extremely quickly. Because it's an adverb, and if I further specify an adverb, I use another adverb. There is a 4th reason for you to use an adverb in English, and that's when you comment on the sentence as a whole. That one's not used very often in lower school yet because it's a little bit trickier. But you have to think about an example like this one. Fortunately, there's our adverb, fortunately, she drove safely. Where fortunately says something, gives us a feeling for the entire sentence. It doesn't happen very often yet in lower school, so don't bother with that one too much. Focus on 1, 2, and 3. So if we summarize all this, then hopefully you notice that it's very important that we figure out what word the information is about and what type of word that is. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Or is it an adverb? So that's exactly what the how-to will be about. So let me just get that slide out there. There we go. So when you have to solve a puzzle with adjectives and adverbs, and the teacher asks you fill in the adjective or the adverb, then you always have to think of 2 things. 1, what is the information about? So you get some kind of word and you need to figure out what information belongs with what. And then what type of word is it? Let's do an example because examples are much clearer than me giving you theory. So there we go. Imagine that your teacher gives you the word beautiful, and the sentence you get with that is she sang. So you need to decide what you're going to do with beautiful. Are you going to say that a certain noun is beautiful, or are you going to say that something is done in a beautiful way? I'd say in this case, it makes most sense to say that the singing is done in a beautiful way. To sing is a verb. And if we use a verb, then we have to use an adverb when we're giving extra information. So it's she sang beautifully, and not anything else other than that. Then a second example. So the sentence that you get from your teacher is the music was playing all night. And you have to fill in the word loud. Now there are two solutions. Solution number one says that, oh yeah, okay, loud can be about music. There can be really loud music somewhere. And in that case, we have to use loud because music is a noun. We could also say that this loud describes how the music was played. It was played in a loud way. If that's the case, then it gives information about to play. And to play is a verb, so you have to say playing loudly. So it's tricky, right? So you always have to wonder, what does it belong with and what type of word is it? And then you choose, am I going to use an adjective because it's a noun, or am I going to use an adverb because it's anything other than that? And I do think that that's the fastest way to remember it. Adjectives only say something about nouns. Adverbs are for all the other ones. So that's how I usually go over it. Is it a noun? Is it a zelfstandig noun word? No? Okay, then I need to use an adverb and probably use the ly form. I think it's time you try a couple because that's really how you're going to find out if you understand this. So I've designed 7 sentences for you to try exactly this with. So go over them and try and fill the word in brackets. So for instance, careful into the sentence, and then I will show you the answers when you're done. So put me on pause for now, and I'll see you in a sec. You have started me again, so it's time for answers, I reckon. Okay, here we go then. These are my solutions. Perhaps you thought of something that I didn't think of. That does not per se mean it's wrong. If you think you might have a correct solution as well, just drop a message to your teacher, and they'll tell you whether it's correct or not. So in my first sentence, I created this one. John carefully held the plate. Because I think the careful is about the way John was holding that plate. So the holding is done in a careful way. So how does he hold the plate? Carefully. That's why I use the adverb form carefully. And that's spelled with double L, by the way, because it's just the word careful plus ly. Then in sentence 2, I went for an adjective because I think it says something about the word person. It says that Julia is a careful person. So what type of person is she? And person is a noun. And for nouns, we always use adjectives. Zelfstandig naamwoord. En daar komt dus een bijvoeglijk naamwoord bij. In 3, I went for quickly because I think it makes most sense that the running is done quickly. So that's why I used that one there. In 4, the extreme goes with how happy this person is singing, I think. So how happily this person is singing. And happily is an adverb because happily said something about the way she was singing. And that means I need to use an adverb to give extra information about that adverb. Whoa, that sentence was really hard. But anyways, extremely happily. In 5, I went for well because I think it says something about speaking. How do you speak English? Well. I remember that good does not have the word goodly in English, but the adverb for good is well. And good is the adjective form, which we need in 6, by the way. Her good English it really helps all of us. Her English being a noun, the English in this case. And if I want to say something about that one, then I have to use good here. And lastly, we had clever, and I used it as an adjective because I think it said something about speech, and speech is a noun, so it was a clever speech. really quite a tricky concept, I know. So ask your teacher for plenty and plenty of materials to practice with, and perhaps you want to do a couple of them together with your teacher, because this one's really, they're little puzzles. You have to figure out what it's about and where it goes. And sometimes there's more than one solution as well. Having said that, I think it's time I start going towards the end screen and tell you that I wish you all the best of luck and keep practicing, because even though this is a hard topic, I know you will master it eventually. Good luck with your practice.